Hello, good morning. This is a mock technical interview for an activity at Microverse Module 5, Week 1. I'm going to read some of the questions and then try to answer with a limited time of 3 minutes for each answer. And then after this, I will try to develop a solution for a challenge. Okay, so I'm going to read the first question. It says, a sorted array is rotated at some unknown point. How to efficiently search an element in it? So what I think about this problem is that the elements in the array are already sorted, but it is rotated, so it is quite difficult to know if it's going from a big number or from bigger to smaller numbers, or the other way around. And we can use for this trying to check or to find an element inside of this kind of array, the binary search algorithm. So the binary search is going to locate probably the place where the array was rotated, and from there you can decide to apply also the binary search in the half of the array that is consistent with the number you are searching. So for this kind of problem, I think it would take, or it would need to apply 2 times the binary search. So that's my answer. The second question is about what is a linked list and what are its types. For this second question, I think a linked list is a kind of a list with nodes. So it's different from an array. In each node of the list, we have information about the next, the following node, and also the value we are keeping inside of the node. So it's a sequence of nodes, and there are 3 main types. One is called the singly linked list, the other the doubly linked list, and the other one the circular linked list. The difference between the singly and the doubly is that in the doubly you also need to point not only to the next node but to the previous node. So you have more information in each node. You have the value you are keeping, you are saving, and also you have the next node and the previous node information. And in the circular linked list, the difference is that you have to point from the last node. You have to go to have a way to link that last node with the first node. So you can make like a quick start from the last until the first node, only showing this information and moving from one to the other. So the process of working in this linked list is that you are traversing the linked list one node at a time. But if you have the information in the last node about the first node, then you can go directly to that node without traversing back from the last to the first one. So this is the information. I'm going to pass to the third question. What is CSS selector specificity and how does it work? Where well, what I have seen and what I read recently is about it's an algorithm that is implemented in most of the browsers or all the browsers to try to weight to measure the weight of different selector yeah, the different selectors of an element in a page. So if you have different selectors and you have to apply, and some of them get in conflict, so you don't know if one color or the other color is going to be applied, or maybe one size or the other size, then you make the calculation of this weight, and then the browser does this calculation, and the browser decides through the algorithm which selector is going to apply for that HTML element. So that's my question. The next question is, what's the difference between a relative, fixed, absolute, and statically positioned element? So this refers also to HTML and CSS, especially CSS. And I would say the following. Um, um, the fixed, now check. The statically positioned element is the static element is the default way that the elements in HTML are shown, and they are positioned. So if you remember that elements uh, start from the top of the page to the bottom of the page. They are they are applied one after the other in a vertical way. But you can change also the location, trying to the aligning of the elements, trying to show them also horizontally. But in this case, the static position represents the default position, and you cannot apply some characteristics, some methods for moving the element to the top, to the bottom, to the left, to the right. But instead, when you're using absolute, you are referring to the element that is going to be taken away from the default alignment, and it will be set independently from the beginning from the top left position until the bottom right. And the relative position is relative to another element. So normally the relative position is a position from one element with respect to its parent element. And you position that element according to the position of the previous element, the parent element. And in the case of fixed element, it, it is positioned according to the viewport. So it doesn't matter that you move the page from up to down, this fixed element will remain in the same position because it is acting according to the viewport positions. So that's it. What's the next question? What is the significance of and reason for wrapping the entire content of a JavaScript source file in a function block? Well, this is a kind of a technique. I haven't seen it yet, but what I know is that it's a kind of technique to wrap up one function, one procedure in JavaScript, and keep it closed in the application, so you can call it, but you cannot pollute the 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 variables and the function names that you already have in the application. So you could have some conflicts because they have the same name, the variables have the same name, and then you can start having different kinds of values that are not what you plan, and you keep this code locked in its in its uh, in its function block, because it's going to be processed independently of the application where it works, and it doesn't going to it is not going to pollute any variable or function in the global environment of the application. So the next question: what are the pros and the cons of using promises instead of callbacks when using JavaScript? Well, what I know is that promises is a new kind of approach for programming with JavaScript for this what is called I don't remember the it's well when you have information that you need to wait for an answer, and you make a call to for this information. Maybe you will get it from a server, maybe you will get it from an API, and this technique is going to be more clear, more efficient, and it will cover all the options in a clearer way. So when you use callbacks, it's getting more messy. So it's an old way of doing it, and it should be used. Promises should be used instead of callbacks whenever possible. So that's it. The next question: what is an event in React? Well, an event in React is similar to JavaScript because you need to be aware of the interaction of the user, and the user can interact clicking buttons or I don't know, choosing options, and for each of these actions, there is an event listener, an event listener that is going to be set up in React. And for this, when the event is generated, is how do you say it, like triggered, no? When the event is triggered, then you call a function or a component in React to complete the actions that you need to take after the interaction. Okay. The next question: what is JSX? JSX are the initials, the final, the ending of the files, the format of a JavaScript file that includes HTML. So the way to include this HTML with JavaScript is mostly used for React. It is not completely a rule, or it is not how do you say, obligatory to use JavaScript X, JSX. But if you start to use it, you can see that it has the potential or the power to be very easy to use, and also it can be it can have advantages to have the HTML besides the JavaScript, and have more interactivity while developing these applications. So this is a new concept, but is applied. It is applied using React, and we normally apply it when we do these kind of projects. The next question is about Ruby. So the question is, it says, explain each of the following operators and how and when they should be used. Equal, equal, then equal, 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 3 times equal, and then the word EQL, and at the question mark, EQL question mark, and then the last one, the fourth one, is equal and question mark. So for these 4 operators, I could tell that equal, equal is used to compare if 2 elements, 2 variables or objects are of the same type and value. If I use triple equal, then we are comparing 2 objects that are of the same type, or the same type. It's the same type. And if you use the operator EQL question mark, then you are comparing 2 objects. Let me check. I think it is used for comparing if 2 objects are equal. And In the last one, equal question mark. I really don't know. I will pass to the following question. What are the blocks and the procs in Ruby? Okay, the blocks and the procs. So there is a slight difference between block and proc. The block is normally a section of a procedure, of a function. A block should normally begin with a definition and an end word. So you put def, then the name of the block, and then the end, and in the middle you put all the statements, and the blocks are useful for developing some some uh, some actions, and blocks are also all the statements inside of a loop, for instance. But procs they have name. So when you have a proc, you can give it a name and use it several times. So this is the difference. Blocks they don't normally have names, and procs they do. We have two more questions. The following question is about the MVC pattern. Explain the MVC pattern. Well, the MVC pattern is applied to Ruby on Rails. This framework is working according to this pattern called a model view controller. And the model is the definition of the database, the data, the relations that are going to be used in the application, and some of the logic that needs to be used for interacting with the view and the controller to respond to the user. The views are the elements that where you are going to put information obtained from the model or from the database. And the controller is going to receive the petitions from the user and interact with the model and the view to obtain a good response and give it back to the browser where it was generated. So the controller is more like a router or something like that. It can control where the application is going and what is going to obtain to give it back to the user. So this is how it works, and it separates the code in these three kind of elements. So it would be more easy to manage and to be maintained. The next question, the last question, is what is object relational mapping? ORM, or object relational mapping, is a kind of approach or library, I can say, that we can use in different kinds of frameworks for interaction between the application and the database. The language we are using in the application, it could be Ruby, it could be JavaScript, it could be Python, Java. Each of these languages and frameworks, have some different object relational mapping libraries. So in the case of Ruby on Rails, the object relational mapping is called active record. So with active record, you can interact with the database using the Ruby language without taking too much complexity. And it has a lot of commands, a lot of procedures already included, so you don't have to use, normally you don't have to use the SQL language to interact with the database and get some information that you need. Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to pass now, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to pass to the code. So this code is about this challenge. I'm going to read it. I'm not going to work on it, but I will try to explain how to solve it. It's not so easy. It's I think it's more or less difficult to complete it, and I won't have enough time for completing this activity in this interview. So, given an integer array called nums, return all the triplets that have a num in the I position, in the j position, and in the k position of the array, such that the numbers that are different, the number I is different than j, and I is different than k, and j is different than k, but the condition is that the sum of these elements inside of this array in these three positions are equal to zero. So you have to search all the three triplets and put them in another array, so you can give an output with an array of arrays. So the first array is a triplet, the second array is another triplet, and in each case the numbers are different from the other ones, and you can check that the sum of the three elements is giving zero. So this is the way to do it. Okay. What I think is that if we have a long array, this is not a long array, but imagine that we have a long array, because there is for this challenge there is a limit with a very long array, so it will take maybe a lot of time to process it and get the answers. But I think the way to solve it is the following. You have the array and you have to start with the first element of the array and fix it, and then do the combinations 2 by 2 to complete if the sum is equal to 0. So for instance, if I decide to use the -1 in position 0, then I check the two following ones, and it tells me when I add them that I have -1 and +0 +1, and it gives me 0. So this is a good combination. I keep on using the same fixed element. Then I fix also this one, and I continue with the following one. The third one would be the following one. So I have -1, 0, and 2, and then -1, 0, and -1, and then -1, 0, and -4. So you can see the following solutions or triplets were not good for adding them and give 0. -1, 0, and 2 gives 1. -1, 0, and -1 gives -2. -1, 0, and -4 gives -5. So you finish with this fixed second element, and you change the second element with this fixed element, and then you have -1 and 1, and then the 2. -1 and 1, it gives 0, and then 2 gives 2. -1, 1, and -1. -1, 1, and -1. So it gives -1. And then the final is -1, 1, and -4. It doesn't give 0 also. So the following one is the third element in the array. It's a 2. So you fixed the first one, then you fix the third one, the fourth element, and then you continue with the following ones. You have -1, 2, and -1. So this gives 0. This is another triplet, and that you need to put in the output. And you have -1, 2, and -4, and it doesn't give 0. So you have to make various loops. I think three main loops. One for the fixed first number, one for the fixed second number, and the following one is about the third number that is going to be checked in the remaining elements of the array. So after that, you have to check, you have to make another search in this output to check that you don't have repeated elements. Maybe there is a function to check that it has unique values. So maybe you can check these triplets are unique and not repeated, and then you can apply it to the output array. But that's the way I would do it. So thank you very much. My name is Juan Carlos Muñoz. I'm a microverse student at module 5, week 1. And this is the mock technical interview. Thank you very much.